Hi everyone, it's Brittany, and in today's video we are going to be talking about choosing a new character. So before I even get into this, I want to make it very clear that none of what I'm going to be talking about today is a requirement to manifest whatever it is that you want. None of it is a requirement to know the truth of who you are and to be who you have always been. But this is a very fun way to look at things. And for people who really struggle with that, 3D experience where you feel that your five senses aren't perceiving what you want them to be perceiving, I think this is a great way to look at things. And I've used this for myself personally many times. And so many people that I've worked with have done this as well. And if you guys recall, I've shared lots of success stories where this is the way that people were looking at things. So I am just going to get into it. So choosing a new character, what do I mean by that? So as you guys know, I talk very much about identity and choosing your identity and shifting your identity and doing this from the understanding that you were never whatever current identity you are experiencing. So the way that I like to describe it is you are I am. You are everything. You're all things. You are the faceless, formless that is choosing to identify with one aspect of yourself, one aspect of the whole of infinity. So you're choosing one part of yourself that you would like to experience in this 3D physical world. And I use air quotes because it's not physical. There is nothing solid there. Okay. So with that being said, you're understanding that you were never this current character, this current identity to begin with. So we'll use one of my favorite analogies that I think a lot of you guys like as well. And that is the Sims video game. And if you're not familiar with this game, it's a video game where you basically create a character and you give them their entire life experience. So you choose a character starting from the way that they look, their traits that they have. I think that that's a part of the game now at this point. This game has been around for a very long time. But the point is, you're giving this character their personality, their career, their relationship status, their financial status, where they live, what they do for fun, like all of that stuff. It's their whole entire life. So in that video game, you are the one that is doing everything. You're the one that's controlling it. You're the one that's observing this character that you've chosen to play out this life. And while you're doing that, you're very much aware that you are not the actual character in the game. So let's say your character gets really hungry and they do this thing where they have different levels and it'll tell you like, oh, you have this, amount of life left for this character because you haven't fed them in a while or whatever it is. And guys, I don't play this game. I just know it because my kids have the game. So sorry if I'm not saying it in the exact way that the game is played, but this is the idea. So there's little levels, and if you don't feed your character in time, they're going to die, So you have to keep up with those things. But you understand that, okay, there's little levels. So right now I see that I'm kind of halfway life. Cool. I can do other things. I can go make this other character that I'm using go to work, tend to the garden. While this character, yeah, she's hungry, but she's okay right now. So the character now has no clue that she or he are being controlled by you, right? No idea. So if this character, let's say it's a woman, she realizes she's hungry and she's not getting that food, she's going to start to panic and she's going to start to worry and freak out. And oh my gosh, where am I going to get this food from? How am I ever going to eat? Am I going to starve to death? So all of those things are going on within that character because, again, the character only knows herself. She only knows that this is who she is. This is the life that she lives. She doesn't know that she is being controlled by you. She doesn't know that none of this is up to her to take care of. It's being taken care of for her. So she panics and she freaks out and she starts, the Sims language that they use, starts freaking out in her little language and thinking that she's going to die. But no, I'm good. I have a little time. I can do X, Y, and Z before I feed her. So the whole point I'm trying to make here is as this human identity that you are currently operating under, you have all of these thoughts and these feelings and these worries and these concerns of, oh my gosh, well, if I don't manifest this relationship, for example, what am I going to do? How am I going to move forward? Am I going to have to find someone else? Am I just going to give up altogether? What if I don't make the money in time? What if I don't manifest that large sum of money? Like, how am I going to plan for this? How am I going to get around this? All of these questions and these worries and these fears that you guys, bring to me all the time, it's normal. It is built into your human identity, your human character, and your character can't do anything but that because it only knows what it knows. It only knows the role that you have assigned to him or her, and that's what it does. That's how it plays out its experience. So with that being said, what this means is once you, from this understanding, from the I am, knowing that you are all things, all identities, all realities, all versions of you, all timelines, all things, you are choosing which part of yourself you want to now give to this human identity, this human character. And when you do that, what is going to happen with this human character that is currently playing a different role, right? The one that is solidified right now in your world, playing a completely different role. And now you're saying, okay, no, this is actually who you're going to be now. This is the role that I'm assigning to you now. And this character, well, it's going to feel threatened because number one, this is the only life it knows, right? It's all it knows. Number two, it just wants to exist. Every identity just wants to exist. And the way that it exists is through you, through your awareness and acceptance of it. So when you choose something new, this identity is going to do everything that it can to keep you in that same identity, the identity that is solidified in the 3D experience. So that is why you guys say things to me like, oh my gosh, well, as soon as I choose something new, I'm having all of these opposing thoughts and feelings and worries and doubts and memories start to flood in. And it just feels like I must be doing something wrong here. Why is this happening? Clearly, if this is working, I should be having thoughts that align with my new identity, right? No, not at all. Not at all. And in fact, it's very normal because, like I said, that current identity that's solidified just wants to protect itself, and it will do everything possible to keep you there, keep you in that same identity. So it brings in those memories, those thoughts, those feelings, those doubts, and the evidence in the 3D experience to get you to agree with it, to accept it as yep, I guess this is still me, this is still who I am. So then it has more existence in your world. Hopefully this is making sense to you guys. So now what? What do we do with that? Well, we allow it all to be there. We allow it all to be there. Remember, every single identity, every single reality, however you want to look at it, has its own built-in past, future, present storyline, thoughts, beliefs, assumptions, actions that you take, behaviors, feelings, all of it. All of it. It is all built into that identity. So every single identity in its own right is absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect and complete in the way that it is. So even though you might want to judge one identity and say, well, that is not perfect, that is not what I want. Okay, I understand that. But guess what? You exist in it. You exist in everything. So by default, every identity is perfect in its own right. Now, you have preferences, absolutely, and you get to choose which identities you would like to experience, which realities you want to live in. But that doesn't make them any less perfect. It just means they're not your choice. So you get to choose. Again, allowing all of those thoughts, all of those feelings, all of the 3D experiences to be there, but choosing to recognize that that is not my choice. Therefore, it has nothing to do with me. It's not my responsibility. And I want to talk about this for a moment because I think, well, in this community, it is, kind of talked about as if every single thing that you're experiencing in your 3D world is happening because of you, because you had a belief that caused it, because you assumed it, because you imagined it. In somehow or some way, you did this, so you have to now fix it. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. Now, yes, you are the source of everything in your life. So technically, yes, it came from you. But it doesn't mean that you have a belief that caused it. It doesn't mean that you assumed it or imagined it. It doesn't mean any of that. In fact, what it means is you exist in everything. Everything is you. So if you see something that you don't like, that you don't choose for yourself, it's not your responsibility. It's not your responsibility. And even bigger than that, if you look at it in that way of, here's something I have to fix, that is going to keep you stuck. That is going to keep you stuck in a reality that you don't want. Why try to fix or see in a better way a reality that you don't choose anymore? It doesn't make any sense. The analogy that I use with some of my clients is that, let's say you're walking down the street and you see a man and a woman having a verbal argument, okay? And if you're anything like me, you might try to hear what's going on, being nosy, and you hear what's maybe being said back and forth, but you keep walking, right? You walk and then you go and you leave that scene and that's it. But would it make sense for you to then turn around and say, okay, let me see what's going on here. Let me go talk to these people. Let me figure out why they're having this argument. Let me get her side. Let me get his side. And once I figure that out, let me get involved. Let me get their numbers. Let me put myself in this situation so that I can solve it for them. No, I really don't think any of you would be doing that. I'm sorry. It's comical. It's comical when you put it that way, right? So in the same exact way, this character that is living out an experience that you no longer choose for yourself has nothing to do with you. It's not your responsibility. And in fact, the more you try to get involved, the more you are claiming this reality as true for you. Okay? So we are going to, again, choose who we want to experience by understanding we were never any of these characters. We were never any of these identities. They're just roles that we are assigning to the physical body, this physical body. Okay? Just roles that we're assigning. None of them are accurate to who we truly are. They're a part of us, yes. One tiny part of the whole of who we are, but they are not who you truly are. So you're choosing that, allowing your human self to do what it does, which is, bring you in all of the opposing thoughts, feelings, even experiences oftentimes. And you're allowing it all to be there, knowing that I didn't choose that. Not mine. No, thank you. Nope. Nothing to do with me. And truly, this is how you handle it. You don't have to even say those things if you don't want to, but you're just recognizing that, wait a second, before I start to go down a rabbit hole of going on social media, trying to figure out who my SP is with, what they're doing right now, which all that does is give you an experience of what you don't want to experience, because when you go looking for it, you're going to experience it at some point. Let me stop, because if this experience right now is not what I want, not what I've chosen for myself, because I've chosen to be married to my person in a beautiful, loving, trusting relationship where we have great communication and we're open and honest with each other, then this has nothing to do with me. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. So I'm just going to allow it, just going to leave it. And yes, I understand that you guys might have to do things in your physical 3D world and in your experience. Yeah, okay, I get that. Do those things. That's okay. But do it while understanding, I'm so happy this has nothing to do with me. I'm so happy this isn't my life. That's it. That's it, guys. Your job is to choose your identity, allow everything to be the way that it is, and stay loyal. Stay loyal to your decision, not because you're trying to make something happen out here. Nothing happens out here. Nothing happens out here. So if you want to look at the 3D world as a mirror, which a lot of people say it is, do you stand in front of a mirror waiting for it to change? No, that's not what a mirror does. All a mirror does is reflect. It reflects who you already are, who you're already being. So when you look at something and you see, okay, this isn't the money that I want. This isn't the job that I want. This isn't the house that I want. This isn't the SP that I want. It's not yours. So leave it alone. Leave it alone and remind yourself of who you are. Remind yourself of what you've chosen. Stay loyal to that, regardless of what you think you see, regardless of what your senses are allowing you to perceive in this moment. Remember, your senses are very, very limited in what they can perceive. So anything that isn't what you want, leave it alone. Disregard it. You don't ignore it. You don't have to ignore any of it, but you just realize it's not my choice. Therefore, it has nothing to do with me, and I'm moving on, knowing who I am. And guys, you can do this in many ways. You can just do it the way that I'm saying right now, choosing to know, choosing to understand, and live your life accordingly. Or of course, you can go within and experience different experiences from this identity that you've chosen for yourself. So inner conversations, visualizations, affirmations, scripting, whatever you want, telling yourself a story, talking to yourself, things that I do often. But none of those things are making anything happen. They're just bringing you back to the awareness of being who you've already chosen to be. That's why I say you can simply just make a decision. But in that decision, you must accept that as the truth of who you are, simply because that's what you've decided. And because this is your personal world, everything that you say goes. So again, everything else that contradicts who you have chosen to be is irrelevant to you. It has nothing to do with you. Don't take responsibility for something that isn't what you choose. Leave it. And when you do that, you allow yourself to easily perceive with your senses what you prefer, because you're keeping your awareness on that. You're deciding that this is who I am now, and that's the only thing I'm going to entertain. So even though my 3D world maybe doesn't look that way right now in this moment, has nothing to do with me, irrelevant to me. That's the character, and I'm observing that character. I am not the character. I'm observing the character. And I will do a video on being the observer. A lot of you guys have asked me about that, so I promise it's coming. But I just wanted to get this video out here for you guys because I think it's just a very easy way to look at this whole thing, and it makes a lot of sense for a lot of people because in whatever way in your life, whether it be a movie, a book, a video game, Halloween costume, maybe even the ways that you're different with different people in your life, you know, you're one way at work, whereas you're a completely different way with your friends, and you're different around your parents. And then maybe you're completely different in, you know, a group of people that you're not very familiar with. You know, we have these different identities that we choose to play or portray at all different times in our life. So it's the same exact thing. And looking at it from this perspective, in my opinion, makes it a lot easier, and it makes so much sense. So please let me know if this video is helpful for you guys. I trust that it will be. And I am looking forward to hearing your experiences and looking at things in this way. So please leave the comments below if you've done this before, if you are excited to look at things this way. Whatever it is, if you have questions, go ahead and leave them down below. And of course, I will get back to them. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. You all are so amazing. I enjoy getting to know you guys in the comments, even if we've never worked together before. I love building these relationships and talking to all of you. So yeah, thank you so much for being open and willing to share experiences that you all are having as well. So I hope you have an amazing, amazing rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video.